They say Jewish delis defined immigrant food, but in 1900, families weren't eating pastrami on rye. They were surviving on something else entirely. Picture this. It's September 1903, Hester Street. A family of 6 sharing 2 rooms. Mama's stretching 20 cents into dinner for the week. What do they actually eat? Not restaurant food. Not deli luxuries. Real tenement cooking. Pushcart ingredients. Foods that fed millions while building America. These weren't the foods tourists eat today. These were survival dishes, transformed into culture, into identity, into the taste of hope itself. Grandmothers preserved these recipes, whispered techniques. Today, I'm taking you back. When Jewish food wasn't trendy, it was necessary, it was everything. Stay with me. These 25 forgotten foods tell the real Lower East Side story, the one your history books missed, the one that still matters today. Number 1. Pushcart pickles. This wasn't gourmet snacking, this was portable nutrition. Pickles from barrels fed the Lower East Side when fresh vegetables cost too much. August 1902, when tenement heat reached 95 degrees, no refrigeration. Pickles lasted, gave salt, gave crunch, gave something fresh when nothing else could. Esther Levy bought 3 pickles every morning. Corner of Auction and Delancey, 2 cents, 1 for each child's lunch pail. Green half-sours still crunchy. Pushcart men, brine, cucumbers in barrels bigger than children. Salt water, garlic, dill seeds. Cucumbers transformed over weeks into sour perfection that satisfied hunger. During the garment workers' strike of 1909, pickles sustained picket lines. Women carried them in apron pockets. Cheap protein, cheap satisfaction. Solidarity tasted sour, cold brine, garlic bite. That satisfying crunch echoing down crowded streets. For 2 cents, you've got vitamins, you've got flavor, got something that felt abundant. Every pushcart had its loyal customers. Families knew which cart made the sourest. The crunchiest pickle preference became neighborhood identity. Community formed around barrels. Every bite carried saltwater message. Survival doesn't require luxury. Flavor lives in simplicity. Something preserved can sustain you through everything impossible. Number 2. Bialy. They call bagels the immigrant bread, but bialys came first. Flatter, cheaper, onions instead of holes. The real taste of home remembered. October 1900, when families arrived at Ellis Island, first food they sought wasn't bagels, was bialys, from Bialystok, round bread carrying Poulin home. Mendel Rothstein opened his bakery on Grand Street. March 1901, 5 bakers, 1 brick oven, making bialys like his father taught him in Poland. Presdo flat, leaf center depression, filled with caramelized onions and poppy seeds. Bake until bottom's crispy, inside stays soft and chewy throughout. No boiling required like bagels. Faster to make, cheaper to sell. During Passover week, bialys kept families fed when leavened bread was forbidden religiously. Hot from the oven, onions sweet and dark, bread tender but substantial. Steam rising from that center depression. Eating memories, eating connection to everything left. Bialys never became trendy like bagels. Stayed neighborhood food. Lower East Side secret. By 1920, 50 bakeries made them, each claiming authentic recipe. Every BLA proved something essential. Home isn't just place, it's taste, it's texture. Its onions caramelized the way your mother's mother made them. Number 3. Potato niche. This wasn't just stuffed pastry, this was portable wages. Niches fed garment workers through 12-hour shifts when stopping meant losing precious piecework pay. January 1905, when factory temperatures dropped below freezing. Girls sewing shirtwaists needed hot food, needed something filling, needed calories cheap enough to afford daily. Yonah Schimmel started selling niches from Pushcart, corner of Houston and Ludlow. September 1910. Potato filling so thick, 1 niche was lunch complete. Knead dough thin, stretch it translucent. Mound mashed potatoes seasoned with fried onions inside. Roll tight, brush with egg. Bake until golden and crispy. The dough wrapped around seasoned potatoes. Baked for 35 minutes at high heat. The outside turned golden. The inside stayed creamy. Perfect portable sustenance. Let cool slightly before selling. The steam needed containment. The potatoes needed setting. The pastry needed structure. Timing made perfection possible for hungry workers. During the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire of March 1911, niches fed survivors and searchers. Women brought dozens. Free food for traumatized community. Comfort wrapped. Golden pastry, creamy potato inside. That first bite releasing steam and onion sweetness. For 5 cents, dignity. For 5 cents, fullness. For 5 cents, strength. Yona's shop still stands today. Same recipes. Same neighborhood. Niches proving some foods transcend trends. Remain essential. Remain exactly what hungry people need. Every niche carried working-class truth. Food doesn't need fancy. Needs filling. Needs affordable. Needs sustaining you through the shift that never ends. Number 4. Egg cream. They called it egg cream. No eggs. No cream. Just chocolate syrup, milk, and seltzer. The drink that made poverty taste like luxury. July 1923, during heat waves, when tenements became ovens, cliffs needed treats, needed something cold. Candy stores invented magic from pennies available. Louis Auster perfected it at his candy store, Avenue A in 7th Street. May 1914, the exact ratio that made bubbles sing, made children smile. Pour chocolate syrup in glass first. Add cold milk halfway, then seltzer hard and fast. Stir vigorously, creating foam that crowned the glass perfectly. The technique mattered completely. Too slow, no foam. Too much syrup, too sweet. The proportions required precision. 3 seconds of hard seltzer spray created perfection. Serve immediately while bubbles peak. The foam should overflow slightly. The taste should hit sweet, then fizzy. The experience should feel extravagant despite costing 5 cents. During the Great Depression, egg creams stayed nickel drinks when everything else inflated. Store owners knew kids needed affordable joy, needed something feeling special. That first sip, foam on your lip, chocolate and fizz, and cold milk mixing. For 5 cents, sophistication. For 5 cents, celebration. For 5 cents, childhood. Louis never wrote his recipe down. Took it to his grave in 1953. Families still argue the authentic method, the perfect ratio, the true technique. Every egg cream proved beautiful lie. Named for what it wasn't, he delivered what it was. Sometimes poverty's limitations birthed the most delicious creativity. Number 5. Gefilte fish. This wasn't delicacy dining. This was fish stretched to miracle. Gefilte fish made 1 carp feed 8 people when buying 8 pieces was impossible. December 1906, before Friday's Sabbath dinners. Fish cost too much. Whole fish impossibly expensive. Mothers needed feeding families with dignity, despite having almost nothing. Rachel Mandelbaum bought carp heads and bones. Thursday, market close, October 1908. 20 cents for scraps. Vendors couldn't sell. She'd make Sabbath from nearly nothing. Grind fish, meat with onions, matzah meal, eggs. Add water, stretch the mixture. Form into oval balls, poach gently in fish stock made from those bones. The grinding took 20 minutes. Hand-cranked grinder attached to table edge. Onions added moisture. Matzah meal added volume. 1 pound became enough for everyone gathered. Simmer gently, 90 minutes. Don't boil hard or balls disintegrate. The stock should barely bubble. The fish should stay tender. Patience created texture impossible to rush. Let cool in broth overnight. The gelatin sets. The flavors deepen. By Friday evening, the fish tastes like more than scraps could possibly become. During Passover 1913, families shared extra gefilte fish with neighbors who had less. Stretched fish, stretching community. Poverty, teaching, generosity through necessities, lessons. Served cold with horseradish that cleared sinuses. That white fish on the plate representing ingenuity, representing refusal to let poverty steal Sabbath dignity. Gefilte fish's jelly surrounding each piece, sweet and savory, made from bones that gave everything. Every bite tasted like making enough from not enough. Every piece proved eternal truth. Scarcity births creativity. Limitation births genius. What seems like nothing becomes feast when love does the cooking. Number 6. Chicken Schmaltz with gribbins. This wasn't just cooking fat. This was liquid gold. Schmaltz rendered from chicken skin made everything taste richer when butter cost too much. November 1904, when families bought one chicken weekly, nothing wasted. Skin rendered into cooking fat. Cracklings saved for treat. Bones boiled for soup stock. Gittell Horowitz rendered Schmaltz every Sunday morning. February 1912, saving every bit of chicken fat through the week. Making Sunday the day poverty became abundance. Cut chicken, skin, and fat into small pieces. Add diced onions to the heavy pot. Cook slowly over low heat until fat renders completely clear and golden. The rendering takes 2 hours minimum. Can't rush it. Low heat extracts every bit. The skin becomes crispy brown, cracklings called gribbins. The fat becomes schmaltz. Strain through cheesecloth carefully. Store schmaltz in jar. Save gribbins separately. Both keep for weeks without refrigeration. Both make poverty taste like everything good. During flu epidemic of 1918, schmaltz was medicine. Rubbed on chests. Added to hot tea. Given to sick children. Food as healing. Fat as hope. Spread on black bread, sprinkled with salt. Gribbins adding crunch. Schmaltz melting into warm bread. 4 pennies. Richness. 4 pennies. The taste of chicken. My grandmother said schmaltz smelled like Friday. Like preparation. Like making ordinary extraordinary. Like transforming what others discarded into something precious and necessary. Every spoonful carried truth about value. What seems worthless becomes treasure. What seems simple becomes essential. Poverty teaches seeing richness everywhere if you look right. Number 7. Cholent. This wasn't just stew. This was Sabbath's solution. Cholent cooked overnight when lighting fires was forbidden. Hot food despite religious law prohibiting work. Friday afternoon, October 1907, women across the Lower East Side preparing Cholent. Before sundown when Sabbath began. Before work stopped for 24 hours completely. Sarah Goldstein assembled her Cholent every Friday, August 1913. Beans, barley, potatoes, whatever meat scraps she'd saved. All going into one heavy pot. Layer ingredients carefully in cast iron pot. Beans on bottom, barley next. Potatoes and onions. Top with flanken, or brisket if affordable. Cover with water. The layering mattered for even cooking. Bottom beans needed longest heat. Meat on top kept tender. Water needed covering everything by 2 inches for overnight cooking. Bring to boil on stove. Then carry to bakery. The baker kept ovens low overnight. Rows of column pots, cooking slowly until Saturday lunch appeared magically. Saturday morning, December 1910, children retrieved family pots from bakery. Still hot, still bubbling. The smell filling tenement stairs. Sabbath, lunch ready without breaking laws. Rich brown stew, beans creamy, barley tender, meat falling apart. Flavors melded through 12 hours of slow heat. Poverty transformed into feast through patience. Each family's Cholent tastes different. Different beans, different proportions. But walking past the bakery Saturday morning, the smell unified everyone. One community. One Sabbath. Every spoonful proved faith finds solutions. Restriction births creativity. What seems impossible becomes possible when necessity meets ingenuity. Food follows devotion anywhere. Number 8. Herring, they say. Caviar was immigrant luxury. But herring was reality. Pickled fish, feeding families when fresh fish cost too much. Salt, preserving both food and culture. March 1900, when barrel herring arrived from Germany. From Poland. From everywhere Jews came fleeing. Fish that traveled. That lasted. That connected to everywhere. Left. Isaac Gellis sold herring from barrels. Hester Street Market. June 1909. Different barrels for Schmaltz herring. Matches herring. Pickled herring. Each type its disciples. Take whole herring from brine. Cut into bite-sized pieces. Arrange on plate with onions. Sliced paper thin. Add boiled potato if you had it. Simple. Perfect. Complete. No cooking required. The preservation was the preparation. The salt already did the work. You just needed willingness eating fish that smelled like ocean and brine. Serve with black bread and butter, if butter was affordable. Otherwise, schmaltz. The herring was rich enough. The salt satisfied. The protein sustained through morning's work. During unemployment winters like 1914, herring kept families fed. One barrel piece cost 2 cents. Fed to people. Stayed good for weeks without refrigeration. That first bite, intensely salty. Fish rich and oily. Onions cutting the richness. Bread soaking up the brine. Taste of the old country and new world. My great-grandfather ate herring for breakfast his entire life. Even when he could afford steak, the taste meant home. Meant survival. Meant never forgetting poverty. Every piece of herring carried ocean across Atlantic. Carried survival across generations. Proved what seems humble can sustain you through absolutely everything life brings. Number 9. Cold borscht. This wasn't gourmet soup. This was summer survival. Cold beet soup feeding families when heating stoves made tenements unbearable during 90-degree heat waves. August 1908, when heat killed dozens. When tenement temperatures reached 100 degrees. When hot food was impossible. Cold borscht saved lives, literally. Fanny Leibowitz made cold borscht in bathtubs. July 1915. The only vessel big enough. Feeding entire tenement building when everyone suffered. Community born from beets. Boil beets until tender, about 90 minutes. Let cool completely. Shred or dice. Add beet, water, vinegar, sugar, salt. Let sit overnight. Cold transformed everything. The cooling took hours but required no attention. The flavors melded in cold water. The beets released their sweetness. The vinegar cut the earthiness perfectly. Serve cold with dollop of sour cream if affordable, otherwise plain. Add cucumber if you had it. Boiled potato if you needed filling. Cold soup is salvation. During heat wave of July 1916, cold borscht was distributed free to the streets. Settlement houses made giant batches, keeping children alive when milk spoiled. That first cold spoonful, shocking after tenement heat. Sweet and sour. Beets staining your lips pink. For pennies, refreshment. For pennies, survival. For pennies, life. Street vendors sold cold borscht from carts. Ice kept it cold. Sold by the cup. People lined up, not for luxury, for relief. For something cold. Every bowl proved poverty's wisdom. Can't fight conditions, adapt to them. Heat demands cold. Summer demands different. Survival demands creativity beyond what comfort teaches. Number 10. Kasha varnish. This wasn't pasta dish. This was two worlds meeting. Buckwheat groats from Russia, mixing with bowtie noodles from New America. Immigration on plate. September 1909, when families bridged old world and new. Kasha, from Stettel memories. Noodles from American grocery. Together creating something neither culture owned. Molly Bernstein made kasha varnish skizzy April 1917, teaching daughters both heritages, both survival skills, both kinds of hunger that needed feeding simultaneously. Toast buckwheat groats in dry pan until fragrant, about 5 minutes. Boil separately with onions until tender. Cook bowtie pasta in salted water until done. The toasting released nutty aroma. The groats needed watching constantly. Too dark and they'd taste burnt. Just right and they'd taste like earth itself. Mix kasha and pasta together while both hot. Add Schmaltz generously. The fat coats everything. Makes disparate ingredients become one dish. Unity through richness. During World War I rationing, kasha varnish fed families when meat disappeared. Protein from buckwheat. Carbs from pasta. Schmaltz making everything taste like more. Earthy kasha. Tender pasta. Everything glistening with Schmaltz. That first bite tasting like two continents. Like leaving and arriving. Like becoming someone new. Children raised on kasha varnish grew up understanding beautiful truth. You don't abandon old for new. You combine them. You make something better than either. Every forkful proved immigration's magic. What seems incompatible becomes inseparable. What seems foreign becomes family. 2 ingredients. 1 people. 1 future forward. Number 11. Stuffed derma-kishk. This wasn't fancy sausage. This was making meal from intestine. Kishk proving every single part of the animal. Fed families when wasting anything meant hunger. December 1905, when buying meat meant buying everything. Butchers sold intestines cheap. Women knew. Fill them with flour, fat, onions. Create something sustaining. Bertha Zimmerman bought beef casings every Thursday. November 1914. 20 cents for what others discarded. She'd feed 8 people from what rich people threw away. Clean intestine casings thoroughly in cold water. Mix flour, matzah meal, Schmaltz, fried onions into paste. Stuff casings loosely. Tie both ends securely with string. The cleaning took 30 minutes. Multiple rinses. The stuffing required patience. Pack too tight and casings burst during cooking. Too loose and filling dissolved into mush. Roast in oven 2 hours alongside brisket if you had brisket. Otherwise, alone. The casing crisps. The filling swells. The fat renders through everything beautifully. During Passover preparation every year, kishk accompanied the meal. Traditional food. Food of poverty made tradition. Scarcity creating culture people clung to deliberately. Sliced thick, casing crispy, inside rich with schmaltz. Texture between bread and sausage. Taste wholly unique. Something from nothing tasting like everything good. Children fought over kishk slices. Not because it was delicate, because it tasted like survival. Like making do. Like mothers who refused letting families go hungry. Every slice proved profound truth. Poverty requires using everything completely. Nothing wasted. Nothing dismissed. Turn what seems disgusting into what becomes delicious through necessity. Number 12. Black bread pumpernickel. This wasn't artisan bakery. This was dense survival. Dark pumpernickel bread lasting weeks without spoiling when buying bread daily was impossible financially for families. February 1900, when flour was cheapest ingredient available. Rye, cheaper than wheat. Molasses cheaper than honey. Dark bread feeding millions because poverty demanded efficiency. Herman Roth baked pumpernickel in his basement. May 1907. 500 loaves weekly, selling them for 3 cents each. Keeping neighborhood fed through winter. Mix rye flour, whole wheat, molasses, caraway seeds. Add coffee for color. Knead minimally. Shape into loaves. Bake low and slow, 3 hours minimum. The long baking developed flavor. The slow heat kept moisture. The density meant thin slices, satisfied. 1 loaf fed family for 3 days, minimum. Cool completely before slicing or bread crumbles. The texture needs setting overnight. The flavor needs mellowing. Patience created bread that sustained through everything difficult. During Depression years, pumpernickel never went stale. Families toasted slices, spread with schmaltz, dipped in coffee, made into breadcrumbs. 1 loaf having multiple lives. That first slice, dark and dense. Caraway seeds perfuming every bite. Slightly sweet from molasses, sour from rye. Tasting like it would last forever. My grandmother said pumpernickel tasted like permanence, like something that wouldn't disappear. Unlike everything else in immigrant life that felt temporary. Bread that stayed. Every slice carried promise. What's humble lasts longest. What's simple endures. Fancy bread goes stale. But pumpernickel remains. Always. Forever. Dependably. Number 13. Seltzer. This wasn't just carbonated water. This was neighborhood service. Seltzer men delivering sparkle to tenements when running water was shared and cleanliness was luxury. June 1912, when typhoid outbreaks killed hundreds, carbonated water was safer. The bubbles meant purification. The fizz meant something clean in world of contamination. Mo Goldberg carried seltzer bottles up 5-story walk-ups, August 1920. 10 bottles per trip. Heavy glass. Wire mesh, protecting them. His back perpetually aching. The seltzer came in pressurized bottles, blue or green glass. Specialized spouts dispensing exact amounts. Deposit system meant bottles returned. Nothing owned, everything borrowed. The carbonation process happened at the factory. High pressure, cold water, carbon dioxide forced through. The result was bubbles that lasted, that satisfied, that felt luxurious. Delivered twice weekly. The seltzer man knew everyone, knew who needed credit, who paid promptly, who needed extra bottle during heat waves without asking. During Prohibition, seltzer mixed with bootleg alcohol, made it drinkable, made it last. The seltzer men knew. They didn't ask questions, they delivered bubbles. That first spray into your glass, the aggressive fizz, the bubbles climbing. For 2 cents, sophistication. For 2 cents, celebration. For 2 cents, something special. Egg creams required seltzer. Doctors prescribed it for digestion. Children drank it plain. The seltzer man was part of family, part of neighborhood, part of survival. Every bottle proved simple truth. Luxury isn't complexity. Sometimes it's just bubbles. Sometimes it's something clean. Sometimes it's sparkle in worlds demanding too much darkness. Number 14. Mandelbrot. This wasn't fancy biscotti. This was twice-baked survival. Mandelbrot lasting months, without spoiling when planning ahead, meant difference between hunger and having something always. October 1906, when women baked once weekly, needed cookies lasting until next baking day. Mandelbrot's dryness was feature, was benefit, was solution. Rivka Steen baked Mandelbrot every Sunday. March 1916. Almonds, when she could afford them. Otherwise just almond extract and hope. Teaching daughters that flavor remembers. Mix flour, eggs, sugar, oil into dough. Add almonds and almond extract. Shape into long logs. Bake until golden. About 35 minutes initially. The first baking sets the dough. The logs should be firm, not fully cooked, just stable enough for slicing. Patience here prevented crumbling later inevitably. Slice while warm into half-inch pieces. Arrange on baking sheet. Return to oven. Toast both sides until completely dry and golden throughout completely. The second, baking removes all moisture. This makes cookies last. Makes them perfect for dunking in tea. Makes them survive in tin for months without spoiling. During long winters, Mandelbrot meant having something sweet, always available. Dunked in tea at breakfast. Packed in lunch pails. Given to children as treats, somehow. Hard, dry, needing coffee or tea. But that almond flavor blooming when dunked. The cookies softening. The sweetness emerging. Simple becoming satisfying through proper preparation. Every piece proved planning's wisdom. Today's work feeds tomorrow. Twice baked means twice lasting. What seems hard becomes tender when you know the proper way of approaching. Number 15. Potato latkes. This wasn't just fried pancake. This was Hanukkah rebellion. Latkes celebrating oil that lasted when it shouldn't. Miracle remembered through potatoes fried golden. December 1908. 8 nights of Hanukkah. Families needed making something special. Something requiring oil they couldn't usually afford. Something celebrating light against darkness. Dora Kaplan grated potatoes by hand every Hanukkah. December 1919. 50 lots, feeding extended family. Knuckles bleeding from grater. Love, measured in scraped skin. Grate potatoes and onions by hand. Squeeze out liquid completely. Mix with eggs, matzah meal, salt, form into thin patties. Fry in hot oil. The grating took an hour. Raw knuckles, inevitable. The squeezing removed moisture that would make latkes soggy. Dry mixture made crispy exteriors when fried properly. Fry in hot Schmaltz or oil, 3 minutes per side. Don't crab the pan. Each latke needs space. Flip only once. Patience creates perfection. During Depression, Hanukkah's oil was expensive. Families used less, made latkes thinner, but nobody skipped them. The tradition mattered more than perfect thickness. Golden brown outside, tender inside. That first bite, crispy edges dissolving. Potatoes sweet and soft, oil glistening, served with applesauce or sour cream if affordable. 8 nights, 8 chances at getting them perfect. Children remembering which nights latkes were crispiest. Which night Mama got the oil temperature exactly right. Every latke carried miracle forward. Oil that shouldn't have lasted. Hope that shouldn't have survived. Small lights defeating overwhelming darkness. Again, always, forever. Number 16. Matzah brie. This wasn't breakfast luxury. This was Passover solution. Matzah brie, turning leftover unleavened bread into something children would actually eat without complaining throughout week. April 1911, when Passover meant 8 days without regular bread. Children hated matzah. Mothers needed creativity. Needed making acceptable what religion required. Sophie Brenner made matzah brie every Passover morning. April 1922. Her children never knowing she invented variations, thinking this was ancient tradition itself. Break matzah into pieces. Soak briefly in water until softened slightly. Beat eggs. Mix soaked matzah with eggs. Fry in butter or schmaltz until golden. The soaking took 2 minutes. Too long and matzah dissolved into mush. Too short and it stayed hard. The perfect softening made all difference. Fry like scrambled eggs. Some families liked it sweet with sugar, others savory with salt. The debate divided neighborhoods, divided families, became passionate disagreement. During Passover week, matzah brie appeared daily. Breakfast solution, lunch solution, dinner when nothing else remained. The egg transformed bread into meal repeatedly. Crispy, edges soft, middle. Egg holding matzah together. Sweet or savory depending on family tradition. Children eating unleavened bread without protest because scrambled. The technique varied by household. Some added cinnamon, some added onions, some made it crispy, others kept it soft. Every family believing theirs was authentic. Every bite proved adaptation's necessity. Can't change what religion requires, can change how you experience it. Transform obligation into something delicious through simple creativity. Number 17. Kugel noodle pudding. This wasn't just casserole, this was sweet debate. Noodle kugel dividing families between sweet and savory, between raisins and pepper, between tradition and rebellion. Friday afternoon, September 1913. Women across Lower East Side preparing kugel for Sabbath dinner. Some adding sugar, some adding salt. All believing theirs was correct. Leah Abramowitz made sweet kugel always. May 1917. Her husband wanted savory. 43 years of marriage. Still arguing about proper noodle pudding every Friday. Boil white egg noodles until tender. Mix with eggs, butter, cottage cheese, sour cream. Add sugar and cinnamon for sweet version, or salt and pepper for savory. The noodles needed complete draining. Excess water made kugel soggy. The egg mixture needed thorough mixing. Bake in greased pan 50 minutes at moderate heat. Bake until top is golden brown and slightly crispy. The edges should pull away from pan. The center should set firm. Test with knife, coming clean. Some families added raisins. Some added apples. Some added neither. The additions reflected where they came from, what they remembered, what poverty had available. Sabbath dinner, that first square of kugel, sweet or savory, creamy inside, crispy top. Noodles transformed into pudding, into dessert, into side dish simultaneously somehow. Families served it alongside brisket. Children ate it for breakfast cold. Some preferred it room temperature. The versatility made it essential for stretched budgets. Every piece proved beautiful truth. Same ingredients create different traditions. Same poverty births different solutions. There's no one way, just your way, your family's way. Number 18. PTCHA calves foot jelly. This wasn't delicacy food. This was poverty's alchemy. PHA making meal from calves' feet that cost nothing because nobody wanted them except those who understood. January 1904. When winter meant eating whatever parts. Butchers sold cheap feet bones, organs, parts that became food when poverty taught, seeing value everywhere. Hyman Goldfarb bought calves' feet every Saturday. November 1915. 50 cents for enough feeding family through a week. What others rejected became his family's sustenance. Clean calves' feet thoroughly. Boil with onions, garlic, bay leaves for 4 hours minimum. The bones release gelatin. The meat falls off. Strain liquid carefully. The boiling took patience. Low heat, slow extraction. The kitchen filled with smell that neighbors either loved or hated. No middle ground with Add hard-boiled eggs and shredded meat to strained liquid. Pour into mold. Refrigerate overnight. The gelatin sets firm. The eggs suspend beautifully throughout. During coldest winter weeks, picha was abundant. Jellied protein lasting without refrigeration. Sliced cold. Served with vinegar, horseradish, something tangy, cutting the richness. That first bite, gelatinous texture, strong garlicky flavor, eggs providing substance, vinegar providing relief, acquired taste that became comfort for those who understood it. Children either loved picha or refused it completely. Adults appreciated it more. The understanding that flavor matters less than sustenance. That survival looks like this. Every slice proved poverty's lesson. Nothing is waste if you know how to use it. What seems unappetizing feeds you through winter. Survival tastes like this. Number 19. Challah. This wasn't daily bread. This was Sabbath crown. Challah, baked Friday afternoons when women saved all week for flour, making something beautiful despite everything difficult. Friday morning, October 1909. Women across Lower East Side, beginning Challah, 6 days of regular bread. But Friday demanded beauty, demanded blessing, demanded proof. Esther Weinstein braided challah, with flour saved penny by penny. June 1918. Teaching daughters that some things mattered more than practicality. Beauty fed souls. Mix flour, yeast, eggs, sugar, oil, salt with warm water. Knead until smooth and elastic, about 10 minutes. Let rise until doubled completely. The kneading developed gluting. The rhythm was meditative. Push, fold, turn. Push, fold, turn. Cliff, fold, turn. The dough transformed under hands, became silky, became possibility itself. Divide into strands, braid intricately. Some made 3-strand braids, some 6-strand, complexity showing devotion. Brush with egg wash, sprinkle with poppy or sesame seeds, bake until deeply golden brown. The smell filled tenement stairs, every floor knowing someone was preparing Sabbath. The aroma unified everyone regardless of religious observance. Golden braided bread, slightly sweet, tender crumb. That first slice at Friday dinner. Blessed, special, different from every other day's bread. Sabbath tasted like this. Even poorest families made challah Friday. Even when regular bread was pumpernickel, Friday was challah, was beauty, was refusing to let poverty steal dignity completely. Every braid proved essential truth. Beauty isn't luxury. Beauty is necessity. Making something lovely feeds more than body, feeds spirit, feeds hope, feeds future. Number 20. Pickled tongue. This wasn't gourmet meat. This was using everything. Beef tongue feeding families when choosing steaks was fantasy, and poverty demanded utilizing every part completely. March 1907, when buying meat meant stretching every penny. Tongue cost half what brisket cost, lasted longer, fed more people. Poverty demanded such calculations. Jacob Feldman bought beef tongues from kosher butcher, August 1916, 50 cents each. One tongue feeding family for 3 days, when cooked properly and sliced thin. Soak tongue in brine for 1 week minimum. Peppercorns, bay leaves, garlic, salt. The brine penetrates, preserves, flavors, transforms what seems strange into delicious. The brining took patience, full week in cold place. The salt worked slowly. The flavors developed gradually. Can't rush pickling. Time created what skill alone couldn't. Boil pickled tongue 3 hours until tender. Peel off tough outer skin while hot. Slice thin when completely cooled. The texture becomes smooth. The flavor becomes mild. During unemployment periods, tongue sustained families. Cheap protein. Lasted without refrigeration. Served cold on black bread. In sandwiches. Sliced for dinner with potatoes boiled. That first slice, tender and mild. Slightly salty from brine. Pink from pickling. Texture unlike any other meat. Strange becoming familiar through necessity's repeated exposure. Children initially refused tongue. Mothers persisted. Eventually it became comfort food. What you grow up eating becomes what you crave. Nostalgia transforms everything strange. Every slice proved adaptation's power. What seems unappetizing becomes delicious when it's what you have. Survival requires open minds. Prejudice is luxury poverty can't afford. Number 21. Flanken short ribs. This wasn't steakhouse meat. This was soup bones with some meat attached. Flanken making broth rich while providing meat families could stretch into 2 meals. November 1900, when buying steak was impossible. Flanken cost pennies. Bones with enough meat, making them worthwhile. Making soup while providing protein simultaneously. Rosa Berkowitz bought flanken every Thursday. February 1912, making soup that fed family through weekend. Meat served 1 meal. Bones boiled again for second batch. Place flanken in large pot with cold water. Add onions, carrots, celery, salt. Bring to boil slowly. Skim foam carefully. Simmer 3 hours minimum. The slow simmer extracted everything. Flavor from bones, gelatin from cartilage. The vegetables sweetened the broth. The meat tenderized until falling from bones completely. Remove meat after 3 hours. Serve separately with horseradish. Continue simmering bones another 2 hours. The broth becomes richer. One purchase making multiple meals possible. During winter illness outbreaks, flanken soup was medicine. Hot broth, easing congestion. Meat, providing strength. Fat coating sore throats. Food as healing, as hope. Rich golden broth. Tender meat. Vegetables soft and sweet. That first spoonful warming everything inside. Sustenance and comfort combined in one economical pot. The bones never wasted. Boiled repeatedly until giving nothing more. Sometimes 3 batches from one flanken purchase. Poverty teaching, complete utilization of every resource. Every spoonful proved Stretchin's art. One ingredient, multiple meals. Nothing wasted, everything used. Bones giving until they had nothing left to give. Number 22. Blintzes. This wasn't dessert luxury. This was farmer cheese stretched thin. Blintzes making small amounts of cheese feed entire family when protein was expensive impossibility. Sunday mornings, May 1914, when families wanted something special, something that felt like celebration despite poverty. Blintzes provided that feeling through farmer cheese wrapped. Anna Levine made blintzes every other Sunday. September 1920, 1 pound of cheese becoming 8 blintzes. 8 people fed from what should feed 2. Make thin crepes from flour, eggs, milk. Cook one side only. Fill with sweetened farmer cheese, mixed with egg. Roll tightly. Fry in butter until golden. The crepes needed perfection. Too thick and they overpowered filling. Too thin and they tore when rolling. The skill developed through practice, through failure, through persistence. Cook crepe on one side only. The uncooked side wraps inside. Seals when fried. This technique keeps filling contained, keeps blintzes from bursting during second cooking. Fry filled blintzes until golden and crispy. Served with sour cream and jam if available, otherwise plain. The cheese inside becoming warm, slightly sweet, satisfying completely. During Shavuot holiday, blintzes were traditional, celebrating Torah with dairy foods. Even poorest families made them. The tradition mattered more than having enough ingredients. Golden exterior, creamy interior. That first bite, crispy giving way to soft cheese. For pennies worth of ingredients, something feeling elegant, feeling special, feeling worthy. Every blintz proved transformation's magic. Humble ingredients handled skillfully become something remarkable. Poverty plus technique equals dignity, equals beauty, equals enough. Number 23. Ruglock. This wasn't bakery pastry. This was cream cheese dough salvation. Rugelach, using inexpensive cream cheese creating richness when butter was too costly for baking. December 1930, when Hanukkah demanded something sweet, something special. Mothers needed impressing children, needed creating celebration from budget, allowing almost nothing extra. Bella Rosenberg made rugelach every Hanukkah. December 1921, cream cheese cheaper than butter. The substitution born from necessity, becoming traditional preference eventually. Mix cream cheese with margarine and flour. No yeast needed. The dough comes together quickly. Refrigerate 2 hours minimum. Roll thin. Cut into triangles carefully. The chilling was essential. Warm dough stuck. Cold dough rolled. Spread with jam and cinnamon sugar. Sprinkle with raisins or nuts if available. Roll from wide end. Bake until golden brown. 25 minutes at moderate heat. The house filled with cinnamon, with sugar, with promise that poverty could still produce sweetness. During Depression years, ruglock remained manageable. Cream cheese stayed affordable. Jam could be homemade. The cookies felt luxurious despite costing pennies to produce. Flaky pastry, sweet filling, that first bite releasing cinnamon and jam. For Hanukkah, for celebration, for proving that making something beautiful remained possible always. Children waited for ruglock, knew when Mama started rolling dough, fought over which ones had most filling. Joy measured in rolled pastry still warm. Every ruglock proved resourcefulness's reward. When you can't afford traditional, invent new tradition. Necessity births techniques that become preferences. Innovation born from limitation. Number 24. Carrot zims. This wasn't just cooked carrots. This was sweet survival. Tisms turning cheap root vegetables into something tasting like abundance when sugar was rare luxury. Jewish New Year, September 1908. Families needed eating something sweet, something symbolizing sweet year ahead. Carrots became that symbol because carrots were affordable. Miriam Cohen made tisms every Rosh Hashanah. September 1919. Carrots cut into coins symbolizing prosperity, hoping sweetness would follow into New Year beginning. Slice carrots into thick rounds, layered with prunes and honey if available. Add cinnamon, orange juice, margarine. Cover. Bake slowly, 2 hours minimum. The slow cooking caramelized natural sugars. The carrots became candy-like. The prunes added depth. The honey stretched further than anyone thought possible initially. Stir occasionally. Add water if becoming too dry. The carrots should be tender. The sauce should thicken. The smell should fill every corner completely. During high holidays, Sims appeared on every table, whether family had much or little. The carrots were democratic, available to everyone regardless of financial circumstances. Sweet, soft carrots, sticky with honey and cinnamon. That first bite tasting like hope, like prayers for prosperity, like sweetness created from earth itself. Even children who hated vegetables ate the Sims. The sweetness convinced them. 4. Made them forget they were eating something healthy, something nourishing, something good for them. Every spoonful proved metaphor's power. Carrots become sweet through proper treatment. Hardship transforms through heat and time. What seems ordinary becomes extraordinary through patient care. Number 25. Sour cream and onions. This wasn't condiment. This was everything. Sour cream with onions, transforming plain potatoes, plain bread, plain life into something rich and satisfying despite poverty. Year-round, but especially summer 1915, when produce was cheap and dairy was available, onions cost nothing. Sour cream stretched, together creating luxury from almost nothing. Every household had their method. Some used scallions, some used yellow onions, some added salt generously. Every family believing their proportion was definitive and correct. Dice onions very fine or slice them paper thin. Mix with sour cream and salt. Let sit 30 minutes, minimum. The flavors marry. The onions mellow slightly. The resting time mattered. Fresh onions too sharp. After 30 minutes, perfect. After an hour, even better. Patience improved everything, including condiments made from pennies. Spread on boiled potatoes, on black bread, on eggs, on nearly everything. The sour cream added richness. The onions added sharpness. Together they added everything missing. During summer months, sour cream and onions appeared at every meal, cooling, refreshing, making boring food interesting, making poverty taste like something chosen deliberately. That first bite, cool and sharp and creamy, cutting through heaviness, adding brightness. 4 pennies, transformation. 4 pennies, flavor. 4 pennies, dignity maintained through everything. My grandmother called it Jewish butter, spreading it on everything, teaching us that richness doesn't require expense. It requires knowing how combining simple things properly. Every spoonful proved final truth. Poverty doesn't mean bland, means creative, means understanding flavors, means knowing that 2 humble ingredients together become greater than both.